Hi and welcome along everyone to today's video. Today's one is to do with supposed airlocks, but in actual fact I'm going to cover three items together here, not just the airlock item but other things that can cause water not to be coming from a tap, and that would also be the actual tap itself and valves, mainly those little isolation valves. So we'll take them one at a time, because I was asked this question by one of my subscribers out there that she had no water coming from a hot basin tap. All the other taps are working fine. I did ask her if she had a combi, because if she had a combi I knew it would be the tap then, but she didn't. She had an F&E system, and I said, right, okay, well, let's have a look at this and what it could possibly be. If you do have a combi boiler and you have a tap not working properly, then you can pretty much say it is a tap. So there is just a couple of things to look at, and one of those would be looking at the service valves if you've got one on the line to that tap. So I'm going to show you what can go wrong with these little beauties first. So here is a couple of service valves. This one's got a little handle on it. It's a little bit better made than the ones that invariably have a screw on it, like this old one I've got here. I bought this one up as a reason. There is a reason for it. I want to show you, because if you've not seen this one before, it's because this one is completely closed over. Now you may say, why is that? And that is because sometimes, usually on wash basins and things like that, the flow can be too fast, and when you open the tap it hits the basin bowl and goes over the edge of the basin. So what's the general rule, what plumbers tend to do, well, everybody for that matter, is you turn them down. So there is the hole through the valve, and what we do is we turn it like this to slow the flow rate down, so that then the water doesn't come over, say, the edge of the basin, or if it's in a sink it's not too fast and it slows it down again. But one problem with that, once you've done that, as you can see, there's not a lot of surface area after that for the water to get round. It will get round because of the pressure, but invariably not only do they get stuck in that position and can't move, but this kind of thing happens. If I could show you this one, now you can see, if you look at that, it's a piece of debris stuck in that one, and that's what happens. Debris from the mains comes in, and invariably if these are closed right over, it blocks up the pipe work there, and that means unless you can turn this fully on, which sometimes they're jammed and you can't, that can be the problem why you're getting no water out of a tap. I've come across this one quite a few times, so I thought I would enlighten you to that particular one and the things that can happen with these nasty service valves that we all put on our services to the feeds, the taps these days, and the only problems with them are, as I say, they can be this problematic in that slow them down and they will block up. Okay, so let's move on anyway to the next thing, the tap. Taps then. Let's take a look at these little beauties, shall we? You may have a mixer tap, it may be any type of tap, kitchen tap, whatever it is. But if you've got the type that turn like this, and you get a good few turns out of it, there is a body part inside of these that actually kind of stick down. They unscrew and you end up with no turns in them. So like, that's how many turns you should have, good few, for the tap to come on. But if you find, like on this tap here, that I've got here, same, looks the same, but I can only turn it there and that's it. If that's all you're getting from your tap and it's just turning a small way, then you may get a little dribble out of it, or maybe a little bit more, a couple of drips, or nothing at all. It's because this tap has shut itself down, and that can be, say, only on this type of tap. If you've got quarter turn taps or things on levers and things, they don't tend to do that type of thing. You should be okay, you can virtually rule the tap out. But what to do when this goes wrong, it's fairly simple. Okay, there's on this one, there's a little top there where you can just unscrew it. I've loosened this one off, I admit, ready, and you can see there is a screw in there. So we just undo that screw and we'll take the head of this thing off, and then we'll show you how to fix the thing. And it's not too bad a job really. I've done thousands. Some are worse than others. But but generally they come apart okay. So take the top off, just pulls off, there's a spline there, okay, and undo this chrome cop. Mo's getting busy outside, he doesn't like too many people to go past, he sits at the window and does a little thing. Okay, then you get to the body of the tap. Now by the way, obviously I'm assuming you turn the water off first, okay. Don't try and do this with the water on, whatever you do. Okay, now I've got a spanner, I've got ready here somewhere, and we put this on. Now I've loosened this off, they are very tight normally, I'm sorry to say, but I've already loosened this one off. So just to show you guys, alright, the tap thing. I've got plenty of videos on this with the taps and them being locked off. When you get it out, you'll be presented with this here. Okay, you can see this one's been badly marked and worn where it was removed some time back, and the seat of the tap there. This is the part we're interested in. Now on the very end you'll see there is a little clip, clip there. Let's get you up focused on it. There we are, you can see it there. That's got to come off, so be careful how you get that off, because it's very easy to stick a screwdriver into your finger when you try to get those things off. Alright, so I tend to put the screwdriver on and do it. Let's get that off. I'll just get that off with the camera off. I don't want to waste your time looking at that. Okay, so there it is, there's a little circlip there. I'll get it in focus for you. There. And that's off of the body now, as you can see. And once that's off, then this part now will pop out. So we just, I've loosened it off, but it is a bit tight, so it does need knocking right out. And what you'll find, this body part here has actually unscrewed itself. What you end up with is this, because this part is left down threaded, and this part has ended up unscrewed. It's come unscrewed from itself. So instead of being like that right in, it's actually down here somewhere. So we can get that focused up for you. That's it, it's down there somewhere. So all we got to do is to screw this back in. Okay, screw it back in to the body of the tap like so, and then put it back. If you use a bit of grease, clean this thing all up, and it will all fit a lot better if you do that, because that's got to go in there and just push it through like so. It won't do that easily, it does need a little bit of grease, but once you've done that, it's there, and then we can put our circlip back on and put it back in the tap, and that's pretty much it. I won't show you putting it all back because it's just the reverse of what I've just shown you. After that, you'll find you've got all the turns back on the tap, and the water will return to that tap that previously didn't work. So that's that one out of the way. That then leaves us with the airlock problem. Now generally with airlocks, it's not normally just one tap, it's generally all of them. So if you suspect an airlock, it is usually all three taps, so say the wash basin, the bath and the sink. It's not normally just one. If it's just one thing like the basin tap for instance, it could well be a valve like I've shown you that's shut down, or it could be the tap itself. So suspect those two things first. If it is the lot, you know it's an airlock, and they just got to be blown out fairly easy. If you've got a mix of taps, just stick your thumb over the end of the cold and hot and open them both up and let the cold run up the hot until you hear it going up the pipe for about 10 seconds, and then take your thumb away. Some mixer taps won't allow you to do that. They've got non-return valves in them, or your pipes may well have non-return valves fitted underneath, in which case that will not work. It won't even work trying to do it with a hose across it if you've got two separate taps, and that is a problem with non-return valves, unfortunately. Life gets a little bit tricky when you've got those fitted when you get an airlock, but most people haven't still, so generally this kind of thing does the trick for you. And it's an ongoing problem with airlocks, mainly with F&E systems where you've got a tank in the loft and you've got especially cold water fed from the tank in a bathroom upstairs, so that the toilet system, the basin tap and the bath tap are off the tank. That means you've got low pressure, it can easily airlock, and also if you've got obviously a cylinder then with the fed off the same tank, it is possible to run a bath and run the cold and hot together, and obviously will empty the system below the tank holes in the loft, so that what happens is, before the tank is filled up, to keep pace with what you're drawing off, it doesn't, and because it has to go through a ball cock into that tank, you can actually run the water out faster than it can fill up, which basically means in the end you'll draw air in down the pipe holes in the tank and create an airlock. So that's another thing to look out for. If you've got cold on the tank up in the bathroom, then try to run the hot in first. Just give it a little couple of minutes or so for the tank to fill a bit more, and then run the cold in to get it the right temperature. Just a little tip on that one, because it used to happen all the time, and it was a current job I used to have a lot on Grades End Council, where all the houses seemed to be of that nature. I'd get called round for an airlock and I'd know exactly what would happen. What had happened. And then if you do find that, then go downstairs and blow it out on the cold main and hot tap first, and once you've got that through, if you've got some hot through upstairs, it may well be enough pressure to blast the cold up, and just drop it down enough to get it out. If not, you'll have to run a hose from downstairs, cold tap up to the hot one upstairs. Sorry, the cold one up to the cold one upstairs if it's from a tank feed. I know it sounds a bit complicated, and it can be, but it's not really. Okay, but that's about it though. That was just one I wanted to answer. 3 particular problems, and 3 items that can be the problem, you know, because airlocks are just not sometimes what you think they are. You think that every time, natural assumption. Okay, that's about it though. All my stuff, you know where to go. Derek and Verdi Free. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye.